All right, we're at Home Depot. We're going to do a washer walkthrough real quick. I'm going to give you the brands that you want and the ones to avoid. Now here's the thing, almost all washers today are going to fail. They're built very much the same in the suspension system, what's called a vertical modular washer. That's why a lot of them will go off balance. And many times the suspension springs will go out, and you can replace those for fairly inexpensive with generic parts off Amazon, but you have to be careful with getting too generic. This is a Hotpoint. This is going to be a bottom of the barrel $500 unit. Now I'm at Home Depot. They charge $40 to deliver, and you have to have it delivered. Actually says it's required, unless it's an LG. They have some secret deal behind the scenes where LG gets the free delivery. This is a decent unit, especially if it's in a rental. Very basic. You can do a decent size load, but I know today everybody wants to do a week's worth of laundry. I don't recommend that. I strongly recommend that you do more loads without overloading it. This is a good unit. I am a fan of some of the GEs, but I do want to point out, like for instance, this one here, you can add a 5-year warranty for $150. If you can afford to do that, if it's in the budget, I strongly recommend it, because almost every unit here is going to have some problem within 5 years. So I just want to be clear. GE a lot of times is rated at the top. LG oftentimes is coming in behind it. This is a good unit. It has a ton of features, but it doesn't have an agitator. Some people think it's okay with just the impeller or that wash plate, but I strongly recommend getting one with an agitator, especially one that has a dual action agitator. This one, as an example, notice I can turn it and then it spins back the other way. And what that means is, while in the bottom, this will kick up laundry that comes down, and it kicks it up, and it has what's called turnover. And so your laundry is going to be cycling through. As these are grabbing it and pulling it down in a corkscrew fashion, you'll hear it make that noise. Rum, 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 rum. These are a little bit noisier, but it's worth it. They definitely wash better when it has a dual action. So that's my first recommendation. Get the dual action. This cheap Hotpoint probably does not have the dual action. It does not. Notice it doesn't turn. Now, there are a few brands that may not turn, but with the GE, that's the easy way to spot it. Whirlpool, you can spot it that way. All of these are good units with GE, but get the extended warranty. Good pricing also. You come around here, you get to some other GEs. This is a good unit also. I like this unit. Much larger. More features. But this one's not Energy Star compliant, which means in some areas you don't get a tax rebate. Some areas you do. So if that's something you're looking for, then you need to go to probably like the Profile series. This one is going to be, I believe, one of the top of the GEs before you get to the Profiles. Almost everything's going to be around 4 stars. Again, another great unit, but more electronics is not always better. Oftentimes people focus on that. But even though it has, you hear that? That's a mechanical dryer. But hear this. This is electromech. So it's got a computer board behind it. So there is a computer in here, just like there is in here, but this one obviously has more features. So don't be fooled by the knobs thinking you're only getting a non-computer. This is a newer Whirlpool, a cleaner look, more electronics for their basic. Notice a $550 unit, a little more sleek. It has the detachable agitator. I'm not crazy about it because I've seen a few of these units where it begins to fail as it goes in and out. Things get caught in there. The idea of, if I need to do a massive blanket's appealing to some people, but for balancing, you want that blanket to go all the way around. You can do it, wow, you can do it with the agitator in anyway, and that is what I actually recommend. If you have to get one of these units, you know, get the warranty, like I said, and just never take the agitator out. Boy, that thing was almost hard to get in. Maybe it's just me because I'm one-handed. Here's another Whirlpool, decent unit. I wouldn't pay that price. Doesn't have an agitator. Notice you're getting essentially the same features over here for about $100 less, okay? Moving over here, more of these Whirlpools, very similar. I'm not a big fan of these. Some people like these better than the ones like this. The old 6-button, or here it is, the 6 lights there, where they have a separate pressure switch that's known to fail. I like this unit, but the price, when you're about $500-600, I would almost step down to a basic GE over the Whirlpool. I like the Whirlpool because they're American made, American owned, whereas the Whirlpool, the GE, you know, is American made, Chinese owned. Maytag. Oh, you can put one whole kitty in this one, or one puppy. This one captures the lint, captures the hair for you. Kind of gimmicky. I don't know why these are on clearance, but these are the only ones they'll let you walk out of here with today. So maybe they're changing those out, getting a new model. Again, no agitator. I strongly recommend getting the agitator. Now we get into the profile. Energy Star compliant. It's going to save you some energy, allegedly, at least some. More electronics in the controls, but it's going to give you more features and options. I've had several people get these and they really like them. They're smooth, they don't have a lot of complaints, and you can keep going up the line where you can connect your Wi-Fi and your smart home system with some of these, which is just absolutely nuts. Now, I'm not a huge fan of LG for a couple reasons, because of their history and the fridges and how they're just let so many people down. But if I had to buy one today, and these were the only two options, the GE Profile or the LG, I would probably go with the LG, and I would get that extra 5 years for $135. I believe that that would be a better buy than going with the GE. It's $180 for the extra 5 year. I don't need a smart wash. I just need a basic unit with an agitator. I do like the agitator and the wash plate design on the LG, and so that's an affordable buy. I would put that right in line with the basic GE or some of the Whirlpools that I've shown previously on this channel. Now you get into the fancier LGs, a lot of people like these. They just really, they like the look and the feel, the sleekness, and I get that, especially if you have a laundry room that's visible. You look at something like this, looks like a I don't know, a sports car going down the road, all the bling. But again, where's the agitator? I know it's super huge, but you don't need to wash a week's worth of laundry in one time. You want to break that down and do multiple loads throughout the week. This one also would be the next step up in LG. I would get this unit. 5-year warranty, $150. A lot of people like the LGs, and again, LG has that behind the scenes deal right now with Home Depot where you can get free delivery, $40. They'll bring it out to you and set everything up. Samsung's still not a fan of Samsung. I know they're doing better. 10 years ago they had problems, 5 years ago they had problems. Some people are saying they've got it all figured out. I would rather go with the LG or the GE before I go with the Samsung. I don't care about the price. I wouldn't want to buy a unit that's going to plague me with problems and repairs. Good looking units on these Samsungs, but some of them actually have been known to just completely fall apart and disintegrate. They literally blow up. When it comes to like your all-in-one units, you've got the GE. A lot of maintenance on this unit. You have to take care of it. If you are a non-maintenance type of person, you probably don't want this unit. There's some people that love them, but there's a lot of people that hate them and talk about a lot of maintenance and problems on them. Same thing over here, LG, everybody's getting into them. AI, okay, I don't think we need artificial intelligence in the laundry room. Can't we just have buttons and knobs that do what it says? And so this is for, you know, the trendy Gen Z, or whatever they're calling them these days. LG front load set. A lot of people like these units. Don't have a lot of complaints about them, but still, we're looking at a lot of money for, you know, smart washing technology. I recommend, if you can fit it in your house, to go with a top loader. I just really believe that that's a better way. In fact, if you really want a good stack, $1,300, notice it's the top load style, and people say, oh, those are old, that's small. Less likely to have repair problems. If you're in a small unit, it's just a simpler design. Smaller loads means it'll have a longer lifespan, generally speaking. A lot of technicians like this Whirlpool set, I will say that. Let's take a look at it. Very basic Whirlpool set, $700. Again, I would go with one of these. These are absolutely comparable. So I would go with one of these also. I would consider that. No to the Samsung, no to the Samsung, yes to the Electrolux. I would do it. Electrolux is still having good success and good reviews, and so I would go with that. I do also like the GE front load set. They do really well. A lot of people like the vent system, the microban, but again, it's just coated, it's just protected, it's not completely made. It's eventually going to have problems. You're still going to want to try to keep it from staying wet, or it will smell. So those are my thoughts on some of the washers here at Home Depot. I hope this helps you make a good decision. God bless.